Flatbush Zombies are a hip-hop trio coming from New York. They burst onto the scene many years ago now, and they dropped an absolute belter. An absolute belter. A belter. Me- Leather belt, belting belter of a mixtape with Better Off Dead. It was a great mixtape. Oh my god, that it was just banger after banger after banger after banger. Made my top 10 of 2013 easily. And I think to many people at that point, they were like the ones to watch, hip hop groups to watch of the decade that were going to break through and just turn hip hop upside down. But then they did what a lot of hip hop artists do, and that is drop their full length debut album, which is usually way more underwhelming than it should be. And it shouldn't really be underwhelming, but it just always somehow is. I mean, especially with the Flatbush Zombies, their 3001, A Laced Odyssey, certainly not as exciting and as exhilarating and as pounding as what was on Better Off Dead. You just think it would be such like a momentous moment for an artist to go onto like a studio, go onto a record label, you know, get signed, and then go onto a studio album. And it's a big moment for them, but it just always leaves slightly less interesting results. But I think it's safe to say that Vacation in Hell is a slight return to form. I don't think that it's as good as Better Off Dead, but it's still a pretty good album. The obvious issue on this album though is that it's an hour and like 20 minutes. I mean, we all know the hip-hop issue in the modern era is sort of streams, so most artists like pile their albums like just to endless amounts of minutes. Fucking Migos, Culture 2, and then of course you're just left with a non-album because you know that it's not made for the album experience, it's just made to gain streams. Flatbush Zombies though certainly aren't doing that here. I wouldn't accuse them of that kind of thing. I mean, they're not really mainstream, so this wouldn't benefit them anyway. It's really just not finding the right tracks to cut from the album, and there certainly are a handful here that could have been cut. Not necessarily just cut from a long album, but just cut in general. I mean, Facts, what is that song? The hook is terrible. I mean, Michi Darko just constantly going, facts, facts. It just totally reminds me of like those like woke people that you see on the internet that are just like, facts. Oh my god, what she just said? Facts. Facts. It's one of the worst things about internet culture now is like, someone speaks an opinion and then someone who completely agrees just replies with facts, and yeah, I just don't really like the song. But then there are just those few tracks that just kind of run on and don't really have much of a hook. I do like it when Flatbush Zombies just give each member their shining moment and do good verses, sort of like in an underachievers way where they kind of just keep going and going with their verses. Like, I do appreciate that side of Flatbush Zombies on this album, but it's not like that many tracks hold much weight in terms of lyrics, in my opinion. There we go, that's way better lighting. This is, yeah, I should have had this from the start. Like, they are dropping so many lines on this album that are like, oh wow, this is interesting, and they are speaking a lot on politics, which I think is pretty relevant, and I do like hearing it from these guys. They don't ever come out with anything that sounds corny or ridiculous or outlandish. Like, I appreciate what they're saying on this album, so there are some tracks that have a weight to them, but I just feel like it's too general at points. Like, they're kind of just saying their thoughts in general terms. Like, I think even though I didn't love Joey Badass's last album, I thought it was alright, but I didn't think it was anything incredible. There were some really high points on the album, like highs that I still love to this day, but like, even as much as I wasn't in love with the album, you cannot deny that every track there was like a concise, like, direction, you know? He knew what he was singing and rapping about. There was somewhere to go, and each track stuck to it. Whereas I don't feel like Flatbush Zombies, I just don't feel like they've quite got that. It's probably because each member is just so different. They're all so versatile. I mean, Michi just brings that like gruffled voice. You just want to hear it whenever it's on. You just want to keep hearing it because he's just got one of those voices that's so like like, and it kind of has like a comedic tone to it as well, especially when he's like rapping about something that's pretty funny. Like he sells the comedy really well, I think. You've then got Eric, who's a bit more of like a traditional New York rapper, kind of smooth with his delivery, very just accessible in comparison to like a Michi Darko. And then Zombie Juice is a little bit higher pitched, so like there's so much versatility and so much difference in everyone in the group. I guess you're gonna get like quite a different perspective on each track, so that's a good thing. That in itself is really good, but I just don't feel like each track is as concise as I'd like it to be. Best American though might be one of the better tracks for this. They're basically just talking about like America in general and each of the, all the different types of problems, and then they question like, who's the best American and is it you? Which is pretty funny, and I guess it's just sort of like highlighting that like, you know, as good as you can be, you're still like a problem in some aspect in America, and even if you're not the problem, someone bigger and someone higher up is gonna cause a problem. Trapped is another really good song actually on the album. I mean, this song is talking about like anxiety, insecurities, and how like you're always trapped, and it's a really different kind of song topic. I didn't expect it from the group, honestly. Like they've definitely progressed in sort of like the maturity levels since Better Off Dead, and yeah, this is a really well made song. It takes quite a while to get to these more serious tracks though. I mean, these are in the latter half, these past few ones I've mentioned, but like at the start it's just straight up like bangers, which I think a lot of Flatbush Zombies fans might have wanted after 3001 Laced Odyssey, because like these bangers do go hard. I mean, holy shit. I mean, Big Shrimp is oof. Got this trap leaning beat. The rappers are just going in. Yeah, it sounds really like dark as well. I love the way like it just sounds like a classic darkish trap sounding song, but you've got like the members still keeping up to their like animated characteristics on the track. It's not like everyone's moody and boring like every other trap banger that's hit the charts over the past few years. This is a good one. Didn't really care for Leather Symphony. It's really hard to do a Leather Symphony because it's like didn't really care for this one. I mean, the chorus where it's like bands, grams, and it's not really my kind of thing. ASAP 12E, I defended him when he dropped that album last year, but honestly, he's really not got that much in him, I don't think. It's a track that I think could have been cut, but I suppose considering I've been wanting those bangers, it's kind of hypocritical for me to say I didn't really want this on the album, but it's just in its sound and in its hook that really could have improved, honestly. Especially considering the tracks like preceding it are way better, like Headstone. Holy shit, this beat is so good. Like it goes on for the entire song. You'd think it'd get repetitive, but it just does not. Michi Darko's like hook as well is so good. It's such a great song. Could be one of the best songs of the year by the end. It honestly sounds like it could make a club anthem too. It's that kind of good. And Vacation, I freaking love this one. I mean, the chorus is pretty simple. I guess you could see it as being redundant, like, so amazing, and then like it kind of just carries on with that, like that, like a little bit too much, but I just really like it, man. And when Michi Darko comes in, oh boy. This is why I love this guy. Like, holy shit. I just got back from Australia. Just like, when he's not on this album. This is the issue as well. Like when Michi's not on, I'm kind of just waiting for his verse. Like in most songs, I'm just like, I want Michi now. Come on, come on, come on. That's just an issue with myself, of course, because I just love him so much. But like, he is just a highlight because of how much like just charisma he's got. Just he can say anything and you're just like straight in there hooked onto what he said. So yeah, I mean, way more highlights than the last album. Thought that was a huge snoozer, honestly. I did not enjoy that album at all. Just couldn't get into it. I found the beats terrible and the rapping was just not as character filled. What is that even? What, that's not even a thing. They weren't filled with as much character, I just don't think. Whereas on this one, all the great things about each member has come back. And even again, like I haven't talked too much about some of the song topics, but there are some really good moments on here where they are talking about some like injustices and like inequalities that I think are much needed, and they do take on these like issues really well. Just definitely too bloated, and easily some tracks I would have thrown out easily. Yeah, definitely would have cut out like a good 5 or 6 songs. Even if they're not bad, they're still like meh, you know? But it does certainly end very strong with that closing track, The Glory, with Denzel Curry, where everyone's just pondering about all the things that they do wrong, their sort of hardships, their insecurities. It's such a lovely track to end the album on. I mean, it's more piano based, I guess, bit of a ballady type way to end out, but you know, everyone comes through on this track. Like they can be so like introspective when they really know what they're writing about. So yeah, a really solid album, I'd say overall. Gonna go with B minus. Going B minus. It's a strong album. Really enjoy it. Just could have been better if they just cut it down to like 50 minutes, maybe 55 at the most. But yeah, B minus, still solid. So many great tracks on here that I'll be returning to. Let me know your thoughts on this album. Do tell me what I can do to improve myself as well. We can always improve ourselves. We can. And yeah, tell me your thoughts on the album. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews, podcasts, interviews, track reactions, lists, everything music related. And do have a good day.